What's up, YouTube? This is Rob DJ Bill here with another review, and wanted to kind of run through a couple fragrances that I've recently acquired. The first is from a house called Armaf. Now, I kind of got up on this fragrance from another YouTube reviewer that does a lot on this house, and this particular fragrance that I've got is supposed to be I want to say a copy of Chanel Allure Homme Special Edition Blanche. I know feelings could be mixed in regard to copies and what you think about them. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. You know, I respect the original. I respect the copy because to me it's a biggest form of flattery. And I think sometimes it's cool to be able to get a copy if you don't want to shell out the dough for the original, or if you have a larger collection, you don't necessarily need to have the original. Sometimes the copy can make improvements in certain aspects of the fragrance. So, you know, I don't know, but the one I've got here is Armaf Opus Homme. All right, this is the bottle. Okay, it says, you can probably, I don't know if you can see it, Opus Homme. All right, on the side of it, it's got a magnetic, you can hear that click cap to it. Now, you know, word is with the Chanel Allure Homme Special Edition Blanche, it's got this lemon cream pie vibe. I've never smelled that particular fragrance, so I can't confirm what I think about it, but this one has got a creamy lemon vibe to it, and it's a very, very nice smelling fragrance, very well done. It doesn't smell synthetic at all. If this is a copy, you know, of the original smells great. I dig it. I'm gonna rock it regardless. I've worn it twice so far, and what I can say in regard to performance, to me it projects for the first 3 hours, and then it kind of turns into a skin scent. But I mean, it resonates. It's still there. Still smell it. You can get it for a very affordable price. I want to say I picked mine up for like 30. So I mean, I think it's a, you know, if you don't want to shell out $105 for the 3.4 from Chanel, you know, I would say this is a great option. You know, I know you can always get the Chanel one cheaper online if you search, but you don't see that one too often. You see it on eBay quite a bit, and I'm kind of leery of, you know, that particular fragrance because I, you know, read a lot about people making copies and stuff like that, and I don't want to get a bootleg copy of a fragrance. So anyway, it's a fragrance that's worth checking out if you thought about getting the Chanel Allure Homme Special Edition Blanche and you don't want to spend that type of dough. This might be a great alternative for you. Again, it's got this lemon, very creamy vibe. It's got a lot of notes listed when I did some online research. I won't get into that. I'll let you do your own research, but the lemon is what shines through, the lemon and bergamot. But it's not your typical citrus scent. This is kind of more upscale. The creaminess of the fragrance is kind of what takes it beyond what the normal lemon, you know, citrusy type fragrance. So it's definitely an upscale fragrance, and I think it's classy, refined. I think it's a winner, and it's one that I think at some point in the near future, a lot of the cats in the community are going to be talking about it. So again, Armaf, okay, Opus Homme, okay. So next up is one that's infamous in the community. The original is. And this one is Encre Noir Sport. Okay, I actually just recently picked this one up for about $30, and the story on this one was I ordered it and the original came, and I didn't get the original because I've always read the reviews about how hard it is to wear, and you know how the ink note is so strong. You know, the name is black ink basically when you translate it. The Sport is a little different. Excuse me. It's a lot more wearable. It's got this citrus and marine note that's been added to it. It definitely tones it down. Like when I had the original that came by mistake, I did spray it because I didn't want to go through the hassle of returning it at first, and the person that sold it to me asked me if I wanted to keep it. And I sprayed it, and that black ink note was just so strong, and it didn't really do anything beyond that. It's a very linear scent. But when I got the Sport, you know, and sprayed it, it was toned down some. The citrus and marine note is there in the beginning. The citrus kind of lasts throughout the life of the fragrance, but it kind of sits in the background. You know, this is a, you know, more of a heavy vetiver, dirty vetiver type fragrance. It's not one to blind buy, even though I did blind buy it, but I have a lot of experience with fragrances. So, you know, if you're a person that's kind of just getting into the game of collecting fragrances, or you just want to get something, you know, just want to have a nice smelling fragrance, this is not one to blind buy. You definitely want to smell it first. For me, you know, as the day went on, I liked it more and more. It does have that ink note, and that's the most prevalent note throughout. Like I stated before, the citrus kind of sits in the background, but it's a very pleasant fragrance. And as the day goes on, I mean, it really has this cleanness to it that I liked it more and more and more. So I'm gonna, you know, I've got to live with it. Of course, and I would say to anybody that collects fragrances, you got to live with the fragrance for a while and really see how it performs day in and day out. So that's kind of my initial vibe on it. It's decent performance-wise, you know, no issues at all. No issues at all. So if you are thinking about trying it out, you know, put your nose on it, you know, Encre or Sport, okay? Another one that I picked up, and I got this one based upon a review from a fellow reviewer. Wow, his name escapes me right now. But I like his nose. I like his choices. So I went and picked it up myself. It's Geir by Ness. All right, 3.4 here. This one, when you do research online, it doesn't really give you a whole lot of specifics. It's just basically saying it's got floral, it's got spice, it's got woody, it's got green, and you know, it's one of those fragrances where you can't really put your finger on it, but it's very, very well blended, very well made. It does have a floral note, but it's a masculine floral. You know, it's a fragrance that I highly recommend. It's classy, it's upscale, it's clean, it's fresh, not off-putting at all. I think, you know, you can rock this in many different, I think it's very versatile. You can rock it in many different ways. So I'm not going to get too much more into it. I think it's a really great fragrance, and it's definitely worth checking out. If you are, you know, if you don't like the floral note, you may not love it, but if you do, I think you're going to really dig it. And I really think it's a safe buy. So Ness, Geir. Okay, so that's another one. Last two up. First one is Dunhill Pursuit. This is a nice fragrance. I actually have a few by the house of Dunhill, and you know, I've worn them quite often. This one had a lot of positive reviews, and this was another blind buy. I picked this one up because it said it had a really nice mandarin note, and I will say, as much as I like it, it does kind of smell synthetic in the beginning. It kind of has that cologne, that old school cologne vibe. But after like the first 10 minutes, that goes away, and the mandarin's still there, a little citrus, and there's some other things going on, some woody elements. But you know, when it really dries down, it's kind of got this, the cedar really kind of like shines, and it kind of sits there, and it kind of reminds me of Kenzo Jungle. Not as strong of a cedar scent, not as prominent, but definitely a cedar-based fragrance. It is, I think, a more formal fragrance, and you know, if that's something you're looking for, I think you might dig this. I mean, you can get it for a pretty good price. I think the largest size is a 2.5. I got it for like 31 bucks. I don't know if I got it from Fragrance X or another spot online, but it's definitely worth checking out. Put your nose on it, see what you think. Dunhill Pursuit. All right. Lastly is by one of my favorite perfumers. Her name is Annick Monardo, and this one is Potion by Dsquared. It's a parfum, excuse me, and I thought it would perform a lot better than it does. It kind of performs like an EDT. I just expect parfums to be, a lot stronger, project a lot better. This one really doesn't do that, but it's a nice smelling fragrance. And speaking in generic terms, just as far as what I thought, it's kind of got this cinnamon, spicy vibe, with a little bit of mint in it. It kind of reminded me of being a kid, and my mom buying cinnamon Colgate toothpaste, and like brushing my teeth or something like that, and then going to school and smelling my hands and kind of like having this cinnamony vibe of the toothpaste that's still on my hands. I know it may not sound appealing, it's more to it than that, but it's just, there's certain notes that kind of remind me, and they kind of take me to that. So there's a lot going on with the fragrance. Annick Monardo kind of does the fragrances. There's an art to it when she hooks something up, and you got to smell it. There's a lot of fragrances that are kind of in that spicy, sweet family right now, so I don't know if it's a must-have or need for somebody, but it all depends. I mean, you may love this fragrance. I think it's a nice fragrance. I can't say that I love it just yet. I haven't worn it enough, but you can always do your research and see what you think. I would say performance-wise, it's about a good 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours strong, which is kind of surprising to me, seeing it though it is a parfum. But again, do your research if you can. Put your nose on it, see what you think. It's a little, you can't get it as cheap. I want to say you typically will see this for about $50. So hey, put your nose on it, see what you think. This might be a gem for you. Again, Dsquared Potion parfum. Again, this is DJ Ville. Feel free to comment, tell me what you think, give me some recommendations. Signing off. Peace.